Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm speaking with Marisol. She's just released a fantastic new track called Like Fire, and I am super excited to talk to her all about it. I want to personally thank you so much for taking the time out of your clearly busy day to do this. It means a lot. How are you doing? What's going on?
Thank you, Austin. Yes, I'm good. And yes, a very busy day indeed.
Yes.
Sadly, I don't get to do music full time. I have a regular full time day job.
Sure.
As mother always said, "Don't quit your day job." I didn't, and so yes, busy day indeed. But super excited to be talking with you about Like Fire and about some of my other music projects coming up.
Yes. I'm really excited to talk about the song. Obviously, I said before we started recording, I really enjoy this. This is like
Oh,
totally the type of music that I was raised on. Like your influences and who you listed in your
mm-hmm.
bio was like, yeah, that's what was on the car growing
Oh,
up. So to like hear your music and hear those influences, but also hear like tons of originality coming through, you should be super proud of that.
thank you. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate that.
The first thing I really want to know about though is like, what is this song about? What directly inspired it, I suppose.
Yeah. So this like many songs that I write, I often say I don't know where they really come from, but they kind of or come to me,
Sure.
or come through me. Sometimes I say,
Yeah.
and that's I really just I think this song in particular, like I started playing, kind of a melody and the hook and the words that sort of spoke to me were this story or sort of articulating really what the song is about, which is my personality as I've come to learn myself through others' feedback about my personality is it's pretty fiery at times. I can snap, I can be very emotional.
Okay.
I wear my heart on my sleeve. And often, I say things that I regret and I have to come back and apologize. And that's really what the song is about. And I think it probably came from an episode of probably doing that, kind of acting out in my fiery temperament. And then my husband, not appreciating it and having to, say, I'm really sorry for acting, like a child.
Sure.
And so that's really what it was about. And I had, really when I started writing and it was like, okay, I want to talk about, that I understand I'm like this. And there's some words in there that talk about I don't need you to be an ocean of water, meaning I don't need you to like put out my fire.
Yeah.
Please don't, in fact, but I do need to just really understand that is me, and I'll try my best to contain it. That's where some of the lines are. I don't want to hurt you, but I just need you to know that this is me, and not to the I don't not that I'm not going to change myself.
Of
I'm
course.
not going to try and learn and grow, but just please understand me more than try to
Yeah.
change me.
Right. It's the acknowledgement of everything,
Yeah.
which fully makes sense on the title now. I guess it all kind of ties together. I love that.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you operate as a solo artist here as far as the name goes, but how does it work in the
Yeah.
background for you? Like, do you have a team behind you putting this together? Other
No.
instrumental? Really?
It's very much a one woman band, with the exception of this one. I did work with a professional guitarist because my guitar skills are subpar, and not ready for prime time. Well, I
Sure,
do
sure.
perform. I do perform live and perform with the guitar, but
Yeah.
on this one, I wanted to really have it be pro. But everything else is all me.
Okay.
I did the writing, arrangements, production, mixing, and
Even more
mastering on this
impressive.
one. Yeah, this is actually the first one I put out that I've done the mixing and mastering. I've been actually working on through a program
Okay.
to learn the engineering side, and it's certainly not perfect, and I'm
Doesn't
still
matter. It
learning. But
sounds you could have fooled me, to be honest. No, really,
well,
like,
I appreciate
yeah.
that. Yeah, I'm learning.
I mean, I literally listen to music all day long as my job, and I feel like I've gotten pretty good
Amazing.
at being able to like, oh, this
Yeah.
sounds off, but
Detect
yeah.
the home baked
Right,
versions.
exactly. But no, really, like, no one I know does the mixing and mastering by themselves. So that's like a whole nother beast. I'm sure it's like
Yeah.
endless YouTube videos on how to
Oh yeah, no,
just doesn't
I had a
stop.
really good coach, or a really good program, Nick
Sure.
Tello, and he's amazing. And it's been about three hard, no, I'm gonna say four hardcore months.
Very cool.
Meeting with him on weekly sessions, and yes, lots of videos, lots of trial and error. And
Yeah.
yeah, but that side of the business, kind of the production mix mastering side, is one that I'm super passionate about. I think it's very interesting when an artist, does their own. I had some experiences where, I've worked with some really great producers. I worked with some great mix and master
Yeah.
engineers, but at other times, you send it off for mix master and you're like, this just is not even my song anymore.
Right. Right.
And you're like, that sounds terrible. And so I kind of was just fed up with spending a lot of money on those things. And I was like, you don't understand what you don't understand what I'm trying to do here.
Totally.
So that's why I started wanting to do it myself. And yeah, so working on it. And I'm definitely going to be doing more because
I
I
love
have a lot of
that.
fun taking the song from conception all the way to production and distribution.
Totally. I mean, listen, even speaking with you for like 5 minutes, I get the feeling that you're an extremely driven person who like knows what they want,
Just a
knows
little
how to
bit.
get it done. And if you don't know how to get it done, like you figure it out yourself. I'm
Yeah,
very
that's
much the
right.
same way. I feel
Yeah.
like, at least on the production end, it's like speaking another language. And you're just, there's like obviously you're either really good at it, you're fluent in making music, or you're constantly learning. And like good for you for actually figuring
Thank you.
that out.
Super
Cutting
fun.
cutting out the middleman in a way.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
enjoy
And
that.
I think it's really for me more like really wanting to hold that baby all the way to,
Yes,
seeing it fly.
absolutely.
Maybe it's a control freak thing. I mean,
It no, and it could be, but honestly, at the end of the day, you're the one who has their name on the music.
yeah,
If
that's
people are
right.
listening
That's
to it,
exactly
it
right.
reflects you. You can't hide behind a band name.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
That's right.
that's
That's right.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing that I really enjoyed about the song, and something that I mentioned, is like it does pull from so many different influences and
Hmm.
inspirations, and also infuses a ton of different genres into it. It's not just
Yes.
one note. So
Yeah.
I kind of want to hear from you. What is the elevator pitch for the song? How are you explaining it to people that may not have, listened to you as a whole before?
Yeah. It's such a great question. And I have a tough time still with how to pitch the song
Yeah,
and how to find the right genre, right? Because
yeah,
I mean, in general, my sort of elevator pitch, if someone says, "Oh, I'm going to listen to your music, what should I know about it?" I would say it is that it's a unique sound set in a very nostalgic, familiar
yes,
place. So that's to me actually, the number one genre name that I gravitate to is Americana.
yeah,
And often Americana can mean to people more like a country flair, but honestly, for me, I feel like Americana means all the things that are American music. It's country, it's roots, it's grass, it's R&B, it's electronic, it's all
totally.
those things merge into one. And I hope that's the sound that comes up in expression through my music.
No, I think that's obviously a solid answer. You're the one that would know it best. But the first thing that you said is it's nostalgic, and I fully
Hmm.
agree. It's like I said, it brings me back to like my childhood, what I was raised on, but in a modern way. So
Great.
yeah, it's really difficult nowadays to do that in a fresh feeling way where it's like you pull from the past and add to the future or
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yeah.
And so yeah, if you're listening to this and that sounds like it might be up your alley, then that's your reason. I
Yeah.
yeah, I do want to look a little towards the future without taking too much
Sure.
focus away. Is like, so you hold the reins. This is your music with your name on it. Do you have any plans to experiment, try new things, or do you think that you've sort of found your lane?
Great question. No, I feel like I'm always experimenting, always pushing. I think I am still also centering on what is that sort of sound that will keep me in that unique but nostalgic place, and yet not go too far into one space or the other. I released an EP late last year, and listening to it now, I feel like it probably is a little more set in the potentially contemporary country pop, and not to over genre
Yeah,
label, because I think that's a problem in music today. We're over trying to stick ourselves into these bajillion categories of genre.
you're right.
But yeah, I do think I'm still gravitating toward toward what lane that is, and also you want to kind of experiment. interestingly, I have a whole other project that I do under another artist
Oh,
name, and I won't go into that. But I did that because I wanted to really carve out this space. It's more electronic, and I
sure.
really wanted to make sure I was carving out space to be able to operate in those different genres, which I love both.
Yeah.
A more traditional, kind of radio ready versus electronic club type music,
Yeah.
or beach type music. And I had a similar debate about, with Mara Soul, is it going to stay kind of more radio Americana, or is it going to be a song you'd play in your car on a nice drive down the road, or is it more like something you'd hear in the background of a movie, like more for think opportunities. And my agent and I were talking about that, and he was saying, you can gravitate in and out of different genres. That's okay. Like there's
Yeah.
no rules here. And I thought it was such good advice. I was like, oh yeah, I have to forget that there's no rules here.
Yeah, there
So
really is. Yeah, it's fully up to
it's
you.
my thing. I
I
don't have
yeah,
I don't have a label. I don't have everything I do is
yeah,
fully, I'm the producer, so I can do
yeah.
it. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta like remember I have total
Exactly.
freedom here. That's why I don't have a label.
Yep.
That's why I didn't go that route. So there's a song coming up that I'm working on with another producer in probably May, called Nightingale, and that will be more like piano based, more
Okay.
ethereal, which will feel a little departure from the Like Fire song, but
Mhm.
I will certainly, I think, be in and out of those two different kind of styles, as it were. I mean, keeps it fresh, right?
Sure. Well, I mean, how does your approach change to actually starting these songs out compared to different projects? Like, what kind of headspace
Yeah,
do you need to be in, or does it start with lyrics? Does it start with you strumming on the guitar? Like, how? Yeah.
it can be any other. That's kind of what I started with saying. Like, I do feel like the music really does, and I don't mean to get all spiritual or anything, but it does come through me, and I can never expect when it's going to come or not come. And I feel like I just have to have the door always open. Nine times out of 10, it comes in the morning, and like right when I wake up,
Yeah.
and I've got something on my brain, and I'll either jot it down in voice memo, or I'll forget it and it'll come back to me the next day.
Sure.
Sometimes it's a guitar line, sometimes it's a melody, sometimes it's lyrics. Almost always I start on the guitar. It's just kind
Mhm.
of how I've developed the songwriting. Although there have been times where I just have a melody in my head and I can't even get the chords on the guitar, so I'll go to the piano. So it's
Sure.
one of those two. But yeah, variety, and then it's just kind of that creative process of, all right, let's see where this goes. Let's see how this develops. Yeah,
I love that. I mean, really, like, no,
organic.
it's no, but that's how it's. It doesn't matter what type of art you're making. I feel like if you actively sit down, you're like, I'm gonna write a song
No
today.
way.
There's no way.
No
There's
way. Does
no
not
way.
work.
It's
Uh-uh.
always in the most inconvenient time.
Oh
You're in the
yes.
shower away from
Oh
your phone.
yes.
You're dry. Like it doesn't matter. It's just yeah. But that's okay because then
Totally.
it feels more natural and it might come
Yeah.
with a fun story at the same time.
That's
So
right. Yeah, and
who really
sometimes it
knows?
takes totally, and sometimes it takes months to develop, and other times
Yeah,
it's like, give me a day and this is done.
that is
Like I
true.
said, there's months of dryness, and then there's months where I'm like, oh my gosh, I have 5 songs I'm working on at one time.
Right.
And like I said, for me, I just have had to just look, stay open to the process, let it take you where it's going to take you, type of thing, and not, like you say,
Exactly.
try to force it. It just doesn't work that way.
Is there a song in the tank that you're like most excited to develop or finish up, or even something that might be on the horizon?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely in that one of those modes of, oh my gosh, now I have like five songs that I'm
Oh,
working on at once.
hey, good
Nightingale,
problem. Good
yeah, you
problem.
could problem
Yeah,
solve, yeah.
yeah.
Nightingale, I'm very excited about because it's actually a song that I had actually out on SoundCloud a few years ago when I had a
Oh,
project under my own my given name. But it was never really right, and I was a terrible producer back then. I knew nothing about production.
it's okay.
And so years later, and I'm working with another producer, as I mentioned, and it's giving it a whole new fresh take. But that is, I'm excited about it because it's a story of my childhood, which
Yeah.
wasn't very pleasant, and gave it great fodder for creativity and
Sure.
creative writing. And so I'm excited to see that one kind of take new light, take flight, as
Yeah.
it's called, nightingale as a bird.
Right.
That one I'm very excited. And then I've got one that I'm ruminating on, and it kind of keeps coming back, called Take Me Home, which I think absolutely will be kind of that Americana, that's kind of more traditional, like Fire.
Nice.
And it'll probably sound very, very similar in my head. It sounds a lot like Fire. So yeah, those two, super excited about taking the next steps and getting them out probably May and June-ish. We'll see.
Amazing. Well,
Yeah,
sounds like there's a ton on the
we
way.
keep rolling. We keep rolling.
I mean, that's really how it works as an independent artist. It's like keeping the ball rolling and figuring
Yeah,
things out and setting goals for yourself, but not getting too serious because
not
it's
getting too
fun.
serious.
It's
Oh,
complicated.
that's, I have to remind myself of that all the time. Sometimes, and you called it spot on. I'm a very driven person. If I
Mhm.
set my sights on, I'm going to get this song out in May. Come hell or high water, I'm getting this song out
Yeah.
in May. But I just constantly have to remind myself, you know what, you're doing this for fun.
Yeah.
Certainly not making any money at it, and that's okay. And it's all just for the joy and the pleasure of doing it. And if a couple people listen to it and hear it, like
Yeah.
yourself, I'm very happy. That makes me more
Totally.
happy, and we keep going.
I love that. No, it's a perfect answer. Um, Generally speaking, though, it's hard to believe we're in the first week of April right now.
I know.
And you've sort of detailed how the next few months are looking, but what are I guess some lofty goals that you'd potentially like to hit, or just some things that
Yeah.
you'd like to see happen, hopefully by year's end?
Yeah. I would like to do another EP.
Oh, okay.
I like the idea of EP. There's no real, in fact, it's very counter to the way music is consumed these days and promoted these days.
Yeah.
We're very much living in you promote the single type of world. But
Oh, yeah.
I like the idea of EPs, that they kind of go together in a set. At least you understood that the artist wanted these songs to sort of tell a complete story.
Sure.
So I'm very excited about that. In my other project, also working on some, again, just kind of some cohesive, connected stories. Like electronic music, it would not be unusual to have an EP that literally was a true through line, meaning almost like a 45-minute
Yeah.
single piece. And in those two projects, and it's kind of what I see on the horizon, is making those larger bets, those larger projects that take a little time to
Sure.
develop and tell a more, let's say, complete story than you can in 3.5 minutes.
I agree. No, really, I prefer the EP. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a full album from start to finish, but the
Yes,
EP is like this snapshot of just a moment in your life, and whether
exactly.
it's fully instrumental or it has lyrics, it's like it gives you the opportunity to kind of break down a period in your life.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of a
yeah.
beautiful thing, to be honest,
Now
especially as a
2020.
songwriter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Now 2024, maybe LP would be on the cards, but that for
Sure,
me feels
sure.
so overwhelming at this moment.
It's okay. It's a reminder to slow down, take it
I
easy,
know,
and,
so true.
month by month or quarter by quarter.
I
It's all
know.
good.
And I am a very impatient person. So typically I'm working on a song, I'm like, get it out, get it out. And then
Right.
that's why the EP, LP ideas are for me like goals. So it's like, okay, can I be patient and take
It's all
one
good.
song and build a fuller story? And yeah,
Totally fine. I have a couple more questions for you.
sure.
You mentioned playing shows, and
Hmm.
sounds like it's something that you love. Is there anything in the works or anything along those lines?
I actually don't love performing live. I get
Oh, okay.
you might be surprised, but I get very nervous. And so I'm working on that. It's probably because the guitar playing came later in my life, and I'm just not as confident
Sure.
with it. And now I'm trying to do everything all at once. But
Yeah.
yes, I've got a show of sorts in October, late October. I live in a wonderful part of the world in Southern California with a lot of art, and so
Nice.
there's an art festival that is very local to my hood, as it were, and I'm going to be playing at the art festival for 3 days, called the Sugarloaf Art Festival.
Sounds really familiar, actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles, so maybe that's
Oh,
why.
good. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
that might
we're
be it.
in the Coachella Hills, like
Oh, geez.
kind of closer to like in between Palm Desert and Idlewild, if you know
Yeah,
that area.
I do
So
very well.
Sugarloaf is this little not even a cafe anymore. It's a historic like building now, a historic cafe that they is no longer operational, but
Yeah,
they now do art fests and things like that. So
nice.
music fest. So yeah,
Very
that's the one
cool.
I have on the cards right now. But yeah, definitely looking at a few more things maybe in the summer as a warm up. So
Well, I mean, isn't Coachella happening next weekend? You could just sneak in, set up a
no
stage,
thanks, no thanks.
and
We could actually sit up here with our binoculars on the hill and look
I
down at
was gonna
Coachella. So it's
say
very
you should,
cool.
if you want to rent your house out, make thousands of dollars like
I
everyone
know we
else in the
should.
area. I'm sure you know people that have done that, but yeah,
We do. We do.
yeah. Well, my last question for you here is it's basically for the person that is going to discover you from this. What is an opening message that you'd like to say to them before they listen to your music for the first time?
Oh, what a great question. Um, I mean, I guess if I were to kind of sit down with someone and they're getting ready to listen, just kind of be open to maybe a different style of music. And it's kind of like your question on elevator pitch. This is music for hanging out on a sunny Sunday, or maybe a drive in the car with your roof down. Stuff that, like you said, might sound like something that was on your radio as a kid. Hopefully with a little bit of a fresh spin on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
always say if you like Fleetwood Mac, you'll probably like
Yeah.
it.
Perfect.
Massive
Yes.
influence.
Exactly. Well, hey, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. This really means a lot. But please let me plug your music for you one more time here.
Thank
Uh,
you so much.
you're welcome. If you guys missed it the first time around, the song is called Like Fire. We will have links in our articles so that you can listen and share and follow along. And just generally stay in touch because I feel like, yeah, as you've mentioned, there's so much more headed our way in all capacities, whether it be in the next month to the next year. Like there's so much happening, so now is the time to pay attention. And thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Austin.
You are very welcome. I hope to speak soon. I hope to
Yeah.
maybe see you at a show. If that happens,
Yes.
let me know.
Yes,
And
definitely.
have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you, Austin. I
All
really
right,
appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. All
Okay.
right, take care. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.